Well, I'm John Van Auken. I'm one of the directors here at the A.R.E. I see some familiar faces out there. I had the good fortune when I was a little boy of having a very mystically religious mother, and at the same time, a father who believed that God was in nature. So I enjoyed the benefits of the magic of the life forces in nature with my brothers and my dad. I read my first Edgar Cayce book in 1962. I was 16 years old, and I was very impressed. And then by the time I was 24, I was actually working here and had read most all the books. And my job at that time was to print the books. So while the printer was running, I would be reading chapters, and I could almost tell you what page it was on in what book. And I did that for many years. I studied all the topics in the Cayce readings. I guess the one that got me into it was reincarnation. And the first, most potent book for me was Gina Sermonara's Many Mansions. Any of you read that one? Well, that's a good one. I would recommend that to you. It just answered so many questions for my young mind, and it gave me a view of the world that I had not heard from others, and it explained a lot of the inequity that I was seeing among my fellow human beings. Things didn't seem fair, but that book explained how that dynamic can come about. And though I studied all the topics in the Cayce readings, I think most of my colleagues would say that the one that I've probably become known for is meditation. And fortunately, that's our topic. One time I was at the Heritage store not too many years ago, and I was just walking around shopping, and one of the clerks came up to me and said, "Oh, you're the meditation guy." And it really caught me off guard because I thought I was the multi-topic guy. But apparently I had been writing a lot more about meditation than I had anything else. So you might say to yourself, well, how does that fit into the theme of this weekend? Well, after 40 years of practicing it and learning all various techniques about the process of meditation, and I would say that in all the conditions of life that you and I face, learning to tune to the center in the midst of those conditions is a very valuable tool. Just dealing with your personal self, to have a sanctuary to go where all the aspects of yourself that you wrestle with are still and quiet. If you're in a marriage and a family, just to have a little sanctuary you can go to in the deep stillness and find that peaceful, content center in the midst of all the babies and all the issues, and is very rejuvenative, very centering. The Cayce readings actually said that one of the greatest benefits of meditation is that your better self comes through. Your better self comes through. And the more you meditate, the more you establish the better self. In fact, when I had a young family, all my kids are grown up now, those little buggers would know when I hadn't meditated. They would say, "Your better self's not coming through today. Did you meditate this morning?" And oh, man. It was amazing how quickly they could see that. So when you're thinking about big changes, the world stage, and I guess some of you have read some of the reports coming from various organizations that track such things, but I'll just use the insurance associations. They're all publishing that they've had more major disaster claims in the last 13 months than they had in the last 30 years. And that it's actually increasing because already 2011 exceeds 2010. Something's going on in the earth. It's been prophesied for a long time. Even in the Cayce readings, the concept of earth changes is spoken to, and various aspects of it are explained. In Matthew 24, if you've read the Bible, you know Jesus even speaks about it. He says that these changes are the birth pains to the new era. If you look at the Revelation in the Bible, it shows you all these horrific things going on, and everybody's so terrified. And then it says, and then Satan is bound for 1,000 years, and the earth is in a glorious reign of peace, no evil, no temptation, for a period as of 1,000 years. So there's a great, glorious ending to this birth pain, this struggle we're possibly facing at this time. If you've studied Hindu concepts of time, you know we're in the Kali Yuga, which is the darkest, lowest time. But fortunately, it is followed by the Satya Yuga, which is the truest, purest time. Everybody forgets that even the Maya believed that time was cyclical. And Edgar adds that the cycle is also spiral. So you're actually ascending. Now there was a descent, yes, and we're deep down in the bowels of that dark descent, but it's now ascending again, and you're making the cycle back. So here we are, April of 2011, and as the Maya say, December 21st of 2012 is the end of an age that began August 13th, 3114 BC. The age they called the age of movement or change. And it ends next December, not this coming December, 2012. How many of you have a feeling about that in your own gut, in your own sensitivity? Some of you, yeah. Some put their hands up with some strength there, and some were kind of, yeah. But actually, most of us in this room have gone through significant, difficult changes already. We've experienced the microcosmic earth changes within our own hearts and minds, within our families, our childhood families, as well as maybe our married families. So we know pain and suffering. We know loss, sorrow, disappointment. In the midst of all of that, we also fortunately know success and love and moments of great enlightenment, sparks of insight. And these are all the mixture of the process of the journey.